This is your presentation on probation. So you screwed up. Not so bad as to get jail time. In this presentation, we'll be talking about probation and what it is, how it works, and how it differs from parole, which people do mess up quite a bit, and until recently, I would as well. Now, probation is a punishment in which you don't necessarily get to go to jail. So for example, instead of getting jail time, the judge says, "Hey, I'm sentencing you to probation," which basically means that you have certain things you have to follow. You're on notice. And it is the most common form of punishment in the US, as it saves money, as the offender does not have to be put in jail and have to go off the taxpayer's dollar. There's different types of probation. There's split sentence, getting some jail time, followed by probation. This is interesting because it's not parole. It sounds like parole, but it's not, because that was part of the sentence was, hey, you might get probation out of this. Shock incarceration is getting jail time, but you can ask for probation later on. And intermittent incarceration is kind of like the Club Med of jail time. You go there on the week for a certain amount of time, and then you get put out, but you're still on probation. You still have to follow the rules. And how do you get probation? Well, a lot of people wonder, how do you get probation? Well, you screw up, obviously, otherwise you won't be being punished. But you try not to commit a violent crime. You commit violent crime, guess what? You're probably not going to get probation. And you try not to be a repeat offender. If I have 16 DUIs and I get put on probation, and I keep getting DUIs, guess what? Obviously, the punishment is not working. We need to up the ante a little bit. And you try not to do drugs or alcohol, if that's your condition of your probation. And if you don't do all those things, you probably get probation instead of hard jail time. But wait a minute. Isn't parole the same as probation? After all, earlier, for shock incarceration, you can ask for probation later on. But remember, probation is a sentence all on its own. Parole is when you get jail time with the possibility of parole. But probation is the sentence. It's not a caveat of the sentence. It is the sentence. And parole is spent time after prison, but is not guaranteed. And the conditions of probation. Now, these are the things that the judge can set down, saying, hey, these are the conditions of your probation. It can vary widely. And if you violate the conditions of the probation, you can go to jail afterwards. And the punishment will fit the crime. For, say, example, if I have a bunch of DUIs and I'm a habitual drug user, I like the meth, the crack cocaine, guess what? The judge is probably going to say, hey, you can't be doing drugs and you're going to have random drug tests. And it can be random drug tests. It could be house arrest, for crying out loud. And it could be even avoiding places that the court doesn't want you going. For example, if I have a horrible drinking problem, guess what? The judge might put a little GPS bracelet on my ankle bracelet and say, hey, you better not be going into the bars or the clubs or wherever that is you like to go drinking. And in conclusion, probation is an alternative to prison time, but the conditions of it are entirely on the judge. The judge is the master. And that is honestly a source of problems because, well, the judge does have a lot of power in that regard. But it can be taken away in favor of jail time if the convict messes up again. So if I constantly violate the conditions of my parole, guess what? The judge can probably take it away from me. But it is a great way to save money, as the prisoner does not go into the jail system, as well as it is a way to save first-time offenders from getting put in that system, in that environment, where they might become career criminals. And, in short, that is probation. And thank you very much for your time.